Verstappen speaks out about British bias. Perez is asking for a lot of money from Red Bull, and Carlos is ready to go back to Ferrari in the future. Do consider subscribing to the channel. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Max Verstappen has recently stirred conversations around bias in the British Formula One media landscape. He boldly stated that he faces criticism partly because he has the wrong passport. These claims have found support from former F1 star Juan Pablo Montoya, who shares Verstappen's sentiments. Verstappen's remarks align with comments made by Adrian Newey, a prominent figure in F1 design, who criticized the British press for their so-called nationalistic coverage. Newey argues that this kind of reporting has led to the unfair portrayal of both Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel. The spotlight has been especially intense on Verstappen as he navigates the challenges of the British F1 media. In response to Newey's statements, Verstappen agreed, indicating that he feels as though he's unfairly targeted. Criticism often surfaces particularly when he races against British drivers like Lando Norris. During a recent race in Mexico, Verstappen accrued a staggering 20 seconds in penalties, following some contentious driving decisions that drew media scrutiny. This is where Montoya enters the discussion. Drawing parallels between his experiences and Verstappen's situation, Montoya pointed out discrepancies in how commentators discuss penalties. He referenced the English-language coverage during the Qatar Grand Prix, highlighting a tendency to defend Lando Norris while critiquing Verstappen's teammate Sergio Perez. Montoya pointedly remarked about how commentators reacted when Norris was penalized for not lifting during caution flags. They labeled it as outrageous, but when Perez spun out, the tone shifted to that of inherent talent. Montoya stated, "When Max said that he had the wrong passport, I could identify myself with it so much." He believes these biases reflect a deeper issue of favoritism within the sport. Moreover, the integrity of the FIA, the organization overseeing F1 regulations, has come under scrutiny. Montoya asked whether the FIA is genuinely upholding fairness, suggesting that biases could impact how drivers are judged by stewards. He elaborated on how reputations can linger, affecting how drivers are perceived and treated in future incidents. He said, "If the FIA doesn't like you, what usually happens is that when you're penalized for an incident, you're likely to face penalties again in the future, regardless of whether you're innocent." This leads to a frustrating cycle for drivers who feel they can't shake off their past mistakes. Montoya's observations cut to the heart of an ongoing debate about fairness, bias, and the impact of media narratives in F1. These discussions raise critical questions about the culture within Formula One. As Verstappen continues to vocalize his experiences, supporters like Montoya are amplifying the need for a more balanced approach in the coverage and treatment of all drivers, regardless of their nationality. For fans and followers of this high-speed sport, the implications of this bias discussion could redefine how races are perceived and discussed moving forward. It challenges us to reflect not only on the individual performances of these athletes, but also on how narratives are constructed around them. As we continue to watch the thrilling world of F1 unfold, one thing is clear. The race is not just on the track, but also in the media's portrayal of its stars. Max Verstappen, a name synonymous with excellence in Formula One racing, is also at the center of intriguing discussions about media representation. Recently, Sky F1 pundit Martin Brundle defended the network's coverage, addressing accusations of bias towards British drivers. He asserted that the commentary team strives for balance, emphasizing that they don't heavily lean on local narratives, unlike what happens during major global events like the Olympics. Brundle, reflecting on his extensive experience, shared that regardless of the positive feedback, it's often one negative statement that gets amplified. This dynamic creates a complex relationship between pundits and fans, where gratitude for positive commentary is seldom expressed. Switching gears, let's dive into the financial side of F1. The countdown to the 2024 season reveals exciting news. Forbes has released its list of the highest-paid drivers. With rising salaries, the competition is not only fierce on the track, but also in the boardrooms, as power plays unfold among teams and drivers alike. Another hot topic is Sergio Perez's future with Red Bull. Speculation is rife about his potential buyout, with insiders debating the implications for the team as they prepare for 2025. This uncertainty showcases the intense negotiations that occur behind the curtain in the high-stakes world of F1 racing. As fans, we're left to wonder, who will rise to the top in the upcoming season, And how will these dynamics shape the future of racing? Keep an eye on these developments as they unravel a narrative that's as gripping as the races themselves. Carlos Sainz has officially completed his stint with Ferrari. The Spaniard, who has been part of the Scuderia for 4 seasons, faced some tough circumstances leading up to the conclusion of the 2024 F1 season, particularly at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Sadly, these challenges resulted in him losing his spot for the next season. Despite this setback, Ferrari team boss Fred Vasseur hasn't ruled out a potential return for Sainz in the future. In fact, he suggested that while Sainz has moved on for now, opportunities could arise down the line. The unexpected signing of 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton for a 3-year deal undoubtedly threw things into disarray for Sainz, who had been eyeing a contract extension after an impressive performance in 2023. Sainz stood out as the only non-Red Bull driver to clinch a victory during the past season, which seemed to position him perfectly for a contract renewal. However, Ferrari's decision to secure Hamilton making the future of their pairing with Charles Leclerc forced Sainz into a difficult situation. Despite being left without a seat, Sainz maintained a positive outlook, refusing to criticize Ferrari's move, acknowledging the allure of integrating Hamilton into the historic team. After contemplating his future for 6 months, Sainz signed a deal to drive for Williams in the upcoming season. Yet according to Vasseur, the door for a potential Sainz comeback at Ferrari remains open. The team boss noted that with Hamilton nearing the latter stages of his career, the dynamics in Formula One are ever-changing, and thus the future holds many possibilities. In an interview with Spanish broadcaster DAZN, Vasseur commented on the relatively small nature of the F1 community, mentioning, "There are only 10 teams and only 6 or 7 top drivers. You never know what is going to happen in the future." He emphasized the importance of both parties focusing on their respective endeavors in the meantime. Sainz's father, legendary rally driver Carlos Sainz Sr., echoed this sentiment during a recent interview. He acknowledged the uncertainty of the future, but was quick to highlight his son's resilience. "What is clear to me is that as he has shown this year, he won't give up. We will see where he is going." His father's pride in his achievements this season was evident, highlighting Sainz's determination and commitment to the sport. This year has certainly posed challenges for Sainz, yet he leaves Ferrari with his head held high, having secured a podium finish as a parting gift. He now heads to Williams with the intent to elevate the team and focus on his ultimate goal, securing a world championship. As we delve deeper into the 2024 F1 landscape, the impact of these shifts will certainly resonate within the paddock and among fans. Stay tuned as we navigate through the latest developments and stories surrounding Formula One's dynamic world. As we turn the page to Carlos Sainz and his emotional exit from Ferrari, it's clear he gave his everything in pursuit of the Constructors' Championship. During his last laps, the atmosphere was heavy with emotion as he chased down race leader Lando Norris, hoping to pull off a miracle finish. Post-race, Sainz reflected on his feelings, admitting, "Strange. A bit emotional, I'm not going to lie." He acknowledged that this wasn't just a race, it was the end of a chapter with the team he had devoted himself to for 4 years. He shared, "It was probably more emotional the last time that I jumped in the car, in the grid." As he made his final appearance in the red Ferrari, Sainz wanted to savor every moment. "I tried to remind myself to enjoy the race as much as possible and to give the absolute maximum for this team," he mentioned, embodying the spirit of a true competitor. Now, with his commitment to the Williams team in sight, Sainz has just as much on his mind about the SF24's performance. While pushing hard to finish strong, he also had his eyes on the future, saying, "I'm already starting to feel things in the car." This foresight indicates a remarkable dedication to carrying over insights that could help him adapt swiftly to his new ride. Despite the emotions of the day, Carlos remains focused. He stated, "Today is a day to try and enjoy as much as possible, recognizing that he still has responsibilities ahead in his new chapter." Following the conclusion of his time at Ferrari, Sainz expressed eagerness for what lies ahead. "I'm extremely motivated for the challenge that I have ahead of me." Next, we shift gears to the ongoing narrative surrounding Ferrari, with the team taking aim at a key comment made by Lewis Hamilton. In a statement laden with irony and intrigue, Ferrari responded with a touch of sarcasm, "I am happy that so many people have time to comment on our choices. It's a reminder of the often contentious atmosphere in F1, where rivals are never far from voicing their opinions. Then there's the situation with Fred Vasseur, who warned Sainz about the pivotal mental challenge he faces when vying against Max Verstappen. If you start the race thinking about this one will take risks, this one not, you are confusing, Vasseur cautioned, highlighting the psychological intricacies that come with racing at the top level. Switching to a broader perspective, Carlos couldn't help but feel the sting of missing out on a top-tier seat with Red Bull or Mercedes, a sentiment echoed by many as they analyzed the current F1 landscape. After securing a podium finish in Abu Dhabi, many speculate it might be some time before Sainz finds himself back on that stage. Lastly, the F1 community buzzes with updates. From Tsunoda's intriguing comments about the ongoing battle for Perez's position to the anticipation for the 2026 grid confirmation, the narrative of the sport continues to evolve. The adrenaline of racing isn't just limited to the track, it spills over into the business side, with excitement for the upcoming season matched by speculation regarding driver contracts and partnerships. Stay tuned as we explore even deeper stories in the fast-paced world of Formula One, where every second counts, both on track and off. Has the sun set on Red Bull's title domination? While Red Bull proudly carries the mantle of reigning world champions in Formula One, there are clear signs that they face significant challenges going forward. Helmut Marko, a leading figure at Red Bull, has issued a stark warning. Unless the team widens their car's working window, regaining the team's championship title may prove elusive. Looking back at the championship double victories of 2022 and 2023, where they celebrated a stunning 1-2 finish in the Drivers' Championship and clinched 21 out of 22 Grand Prix, this current season points to a shift. McLaren and Ferrari have stepped up their game, putting pressure on Red Bull and signaling that their dominance may not last indefinitely. As we forecast the future, Marko anticipates an even tighter championship race in 2025. The 2024 season has already proven to be engaging, with many teams struggling to nail their in-season updates. The focus, however, remains primarily on Red Bull. While they managed to secure the world title and Max Verstappen finished 63 points ahead of Lando Norris, they found themselves third in the Constructors' Championship, trailing McLaren and Ferrari. Marko acknowledges that not all the blame can rest on Sergio Perez, who notably did not achieve a win among the top drivers. The entire Red Bull team must step up its performance if they want to avoid potentially back-to-back defeats to McLaren. He stated, "If they take this form into next year and we don't improve, then it will be even tighter than it is today." This reflects a keen awareness of the competitive landscape, with every team pushing hard for an edge. The intricate nature of Formula One means that with every season, teams must refine their approach. Marko points out that while the regulations remain stable, Red Bull's weaknesses persist, especially in their car setups. They struggle with the correlation between simulations, wind tunnel data, and track performance, indicating that their current setup is too narrow for optimal effectiveness. Our technical group has a lot of work to do, he emphasizes, highlighting the immediate need for improvement. As fans, we're left to wonder how Red Bull will navigate these challenges. With an exhilarating mix of competition in Formula One, the anticipation for the next season continues to build. Will Red Bull reclaim its place as the undisputed champion, or will new contenders like McLaren and Ferrari redefine the hierarchy in racing? The coming years will certainly dictate the next chapter in this high-stakes sport. Stay tuned as we continue to track this thrilling journey. As we enter the next season, McLaren has established itself as a formidable contender, with both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri achieving impressive wins and podium finishes. However, they'll face intense competition from Ferrari, which has secured Charles Leclerc, a race winner, alongside legendary Lewis Hamilton. This combination certainly raises the stakes. Mercedes is also making significant changes. Losing Hamilton to Ferrari is a big shift, but they are welcoming the junior sensation, Kimi Antonelli. Meanwhile, Red Bull's Helmut Marko acknowledges the dual threat posed by these rival teams, but remains confident in Max Verstappen as their clear number one. He believes Verstappen can clinch the Drivers' Championship despite the mounting competition. Marko also notes the stability at McLaren while recognizing the potential challenges at Ferrari with their new driver lineup. It'll be interesting to see how Hamilton adapts to his new team dynamics, especially after delivering an exceptional race performance on medium tires this past season. Marko sees Verstappen's leadership as a significant advantage. Transitioning to some recent events, Verstappen faced scrutiny after receiving penalty points from an incident with Oscar Piastri during the Abu Dhabi race. As tensions rise, George Russell and Verstappen have exchanged words regarding potential threats, highlighting the fierce rivalries within the sport. Lastly, for fans eager to keep up with the latest, we'll reveal the highest-paid drivers for the upcoming season, among others. Stay tuned, as these developments promise to shape an exciting future in Formula One. Sergio Perez finds himself at a crossroads in his Formula One career, with reports suggesting a staggering $75 million buyout sum as he engages in a high-stakes standoff with Red Bull. This isn't just a simple contract negotiation. It represents the culmination of a tumultuous season for Perez, marking his fourth year with the team yet his worst to date. In his earlier seasons, Perez showcased remarkable talent, securing a commendable fourth place in his debut season and improving to third before finishing as a strong runner-up to teammate Max Verstappen last year. However, this season has left much to be desired. Currently sitting in 8th place, Perez's performance has plummeted. He managed only 152 points and 4 podium finishes, all of which were achieved in the first 5 races of the 24-race season, highlighting his significant drop in form. The implications of his struggle are profound, especially for Red Bull, who finished third in the Constructors' Championship, trailing McLaren by a striking 77 points. Rumors are swirling that Perez's days with Red Bull could be numbered. Despite signing a new contract this past May, recent discussions within the team regarding the 2025 lineup reveal that his future remains uncertain. Analysts believe this hesitation to announce decisions stems from ongoing negotiations about his buyout sum. Former Bridgestone engineer Kees van de Grint posits that Perez may not be keen on resigning, presenting 2 potential outcomes. Either he continues racing next season, or he negotiates a significant payout. The conversations surrounding his buyout have become particularly contentious, with estimates ranging from $50 million to the eye-popping $75 million posited by Van de Grint. In the realm of F1, buyouts are not uncommon, yet this figure could redefine expectations of driver contracts. The harsh reality for Perez is that he needs to bounce back not just for his own future, but for Red Bull's aspirations as well. As the team contemplates their long-term strategy, the pressure mounts for Perez to regain his form while battling the financial implications of his contract. The saga surrounding Perez and Red Bull is far from over, and Formula One fans are on the edge of their seats, wondering if this talented driver will don the Red Bull colors in the coming seasons or if he'll unlock a new chapter elsewhere. With intensive negotiations and expectations to navigate, Perez's fate is a focal point of discussion in the motorsport world. As the F1 2024 season unfolds, the spotlight continues to shine on the dynamics within Red Bull Racing. The conversation around Sergio Perez is heating up, with insights suggesting a critical decision lies ahead for the team. The financial implications of contract buyouts and sponsorship deals are weighing heavily on stakeholders. Red Bull is balancing the potential financial reward from the Constructors' Championship against the immediate costs of letting go of Perez. Motorsport advisor Helmut Marko noted that shareholders would ultimately make the call on Perez's future, indicating a struggle between emotional investment and fiscal reality. It's a complex situation where 2 years of contract payout could potentially create significant losses, especially since Perez brings substantial support from sponsors like Carlos Slim. In the eyes of some experts, Red Bull's decision to keep Perez might not seem the wisest. On the flip side, there's acknowledgement of the pressures placed on him by the team, a strategy designed by team principal Christian Horner to motivate the driver amidst challenging times. As the situation stands, Perez is under scrutiny, and many believe the team has long been contemplating a change. Meanwhile, as the season progresses, Max Verstappen has found himself making headlines too. He recently expressed his concerns regarding media bias in British F1 journalism, feeling that he faces an uphill battle due to his nationality. This sentiment has found backing from previous F1 stars who share Verstappen's perception of unequal treatment compared to his competitors. In the broader team dynamics, rumors of a potential move for Valtteri Bottas to Red Bull sparked some confusion within the fan base. While speculation mounts regarding Perez's future, Verstappen weighed in, hinting at a growing concern about his teammates' performance and what this could mean for Red Bull's overall strategy. One notable narrative is how McLaren has been celebrating its constructors' title, which some argue was bolstered by Perez's underwhelming season. Critics have pointed out that while McLaren deserves credit for their achievements, they benefited from Perez's challenges on the track, leading to their successful campaign. As we ponder the fate of Sergio Perez and the ongoing evolution of the Red Bull team, questions abound about the team's direction and the kind of driver lineup they'll seek in future. Could this be the end of the road for Perez at Red Bull? Or is there still a chance for him to prove his worth? These developments come at a time when the F1 community is buzzing with speculation. With F1's evolving landscape, the stakes have never been higher. Keep watching as we dive into the latest updates, analyze performance stats, and bring you news from the paddock. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more thrilling moments in the world of Formula One.